Good evening and welcome to episode number 4 of a Whole Pack of Wolves podcast. I am your host, Justin Grace, alongside my co-host again tonight, as always, the lovely and talented Colby Pleasance tonight. Tonight, guys, we are going to be talking some NC State football again. We are glad to be back for this week. It's a short week this week that NC State's had. We've got a game coming up with the Virginia Cavaliers in Charlottesville here on Friday night. So shout out to the NC State team for getting ready. So hopefully we're going to get you guys ready now. So we're going to do our usual show tonight. We're going to give our 3 keys to the game, my 3 keys, Colby's 3 keys. And then we're going to also talk about who we think are going to be the key players on both sides. And then we'll do our final score prediction for tonight. So it's going to be a little juicy tonight because one of us got one opinion and one got another. So
yeah,
we're going to let that out tonight. I'm going to try not to be as realistic tonight as I normally would be, but I got to throw it in as always. So Colby's my cup of tea and I'm the realist. So we're going to go with that tonight. But Colby, I'm going to always, I feel like I say these same things over and over every week. But tonight I'm going to go with my 3 keys, and I'm going to switch it up a little bit different tonight. But my first key tonight is going to be to establish a running game. That was the first thing I made on my notes for tonight, and I really liked what Kendrick Raphael did in the fourth quarter. I really liked the way Michael Allen ran the football, too, at times last week against VMI. I think we need to see more of that. You know, Brennan talked about it in his press conference yesterday. He really said that the running game is going to help the passing game. And for those who listen to Mike Lennon and Tim Donnelly on their show, Pack Therapy, Mike said the same thing. You know, he's echoed that same sentiment that NC State's going to have to get their running game going if they really want this offense to reach its full potential, which me personally, you know, I know last week was another, you know, a game where you should have won. And you did win by what you thought you would have won by. You know, a 38-point win is a good win. You know, I was looking for particular things, not necessarily the win. I really wanted to see us establish a running game. I wanted to see some receivers establish themselves too. And we got a little bit of both. You know, Julian Gray had a little coming out party this last week. So it was good to see that we actually had some people starting to step up and embrace those roles. So I was glad to see when the depth chart came out this week too. There were some changes that I thought were needed to be made at wide receiver. So some things that I still feel like are going to get tweaked with time. But number one thing for me was get the running game going again. Get Raphael more carries. I think he was really, really efficient running the football last week, and it seemed to me that he really got some rhythm in the fourth quarter too. He was able to kind of run that game out, which is really what you want to do as an offense. By the time the fourth quarter hits, you want to be up by enough that you can just kind of ground out the game. And Kendrick did a great job in the fourth quarter of doing that for us. So the more carries he got, you know, kind of more in the flow of the game he got. So I really would like to see more of him in the running game. I'd like to see more of Michael Allen in the running game too. I think those are our 2 best runners. And then my second key this week was clean up the mistakes on defense. You know, we're still seeing a little bit of things where things don't go right. You know, VMI was able to get a touchdown on some broken plays on that drive, but I just feel like they got to be able to be their best all the time. You can't just be your best 80% of the time, 90% of the time, which is kind of what they are, but be your best all the time. You know, I know Aiden wasn't there last week. That was part of it too, but so getting him back maybe gets us back, you know, gets us right for the time going, but that was my second key. And then my third key for this week was realistically control Virginia's passing game and make them one-dimensional. Virginia has 2 really good wide receivers that most people don't really know about, haven't heard about yet, but they're both transfers, and they're both top 10 in the ACC in receiving. So that was my number one thing was for them. It looks to me like when Virginia does get in rhythm, they are able to get some established passing game going. And I think it's going to be time for us to really start showing what I thought was going to be this season's biggest strength of the defense, which was going to be our secondary. So those were my 3 keys. So, Colby, I'm going to let you talk about your 3 keys to this week. What do you think are going to be the 3 keys for NC State to get the win this week?
Yeah, just wanted to let you know, just check the live chat whenever you get a chance.
Okay.
And just what a game that we had this past week with VMI, of course. You touched on it. It was a game that we won, and we won fairly well. You were supposed to win fairly well, and we did. We got 3 rushing touchdowns, 1 passing TD, 1 kickoff return, and a defensive touchdown. That's an all well-run game, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Offense, defense, special teams, and so on. The running game, passing game.
Even got a field goal,
Yeah.
So
it just seemed like it was a good game all around. And I kind of talked to you about it, and you talked to me about it. I really didn't feel like VMI really needed a preview, because I feel like we just kind of knew going into that game. State would have to win, and they did. So with Virginia now, my 3 keys are to really just not let Virginia get in your head. Just don't let them psych you out of your game. Just play your game and play what your brand of football is. I like your thought on saying establish the run. I say, establish a little bit of a passing game as well. Get guys open. We got 2 big receivers in Dakari Collins and Bradley Rosner, and I really feel like they are big contributors to our, throw it up and get it kind of game. Bradley Rosner had a great throw it up and get it kind of touchdown this past weekend. So I really feel like, just don't let Virginia get in your head. Also, my second key is play sound defense. You're not as hard on the defense. They kind of, they do what they know how to do. But to me, we don't play sound defense, in my opinion. There's too many plays that have big plays that happen with our defense. And that can happen with, our offense lacking explosiveness. And as Robert and I likes to talk about, explosiveness is key. And we need more explosive plays. And so I feel like we get that done though this week. I don't see anything scary with Virginia at all. But like I said, don't let them get in your head, and make sure you play sound defense. And then the third key is really just play with ease. Don't play with a rush. Don't play with an aggravation in your team. You just play with ease. And so when I say these 3 keys, and they're more of a deep-minded kind of sounding keys to the game, that's really what it is. It's a game that you just don't psych yourself out. Just play your game. Just play what you can do, and stuff will open up. You have been saying, you said to me offline, saying that guys need to get open, and certain guys aren't getting open, and guys need to just make plays, be playmakers. I feel like this game is one of those games that we will get a lot of play out of guys who haven't been playmakers, but will become playmakers. That's just what I see. Virginia's defensive scheme isn't really that complicated. And in my opinion, I don't think their defense is that great. I don't think they have a great pass rush. I don't think they have a great defense, period. Their offensive line is horrible. Absolutely. Garrett 2J left that place in shambles. So I feel like our defense just needs to play sound, and we can get to them. We get sacks. We get forced fumbles. We cause their quarterback, whoever it will be, it's either Tony Muskett or the freshman, I forget his name, but if you make them force mistakes, then you're going to play this game pretty well. And to me, that's just how I look at it. You just got to play sound defense. You just got to not beat yourself, and you just got to play with a sense of we're okay. Like, don't get stressed out. Don't get aggravated. And that's really what I think. I don't think it's really what the play. Like, I feel like your players are going to make plays.
Mm-hmm.
We got some guys who are dogs. Like, I'm just going to say that up front. We got some guys who are
Peyton
dogs.
Wilson.
Yeah, Peyton Wilson. I think we have some
Brennan.
offensive guys that are dogs. Brennan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, the guy can run through people. You got 2 running backs that are really good. Kendrick Raphael, like you were saying, that's an insane freshman. He's insane. Same with Kevin Conception, freshman wide receiver, also insane. You got the workhorse in Michael Allen, who's your kind of bruising back. He's good. Like, he looks good. I feel like we're gonna run the ball really well. I just see differences of how the Notre Dame game went and how the UConn game went, and I just see more of a difference of this game is going to go completely different from those 2 games, but also go different from the VMI game because it is an ACC opponent. They're going to kind of be a little bit more like there's the difficulty goes up a little bit, but it still kind of stays at the kind of low tier. Like, you can put some points up on these guys. And so that's just kind of how I look at it. And those really are my keys. It's kind of more of a surreal kind of way of looking at it is just don't beat yourself.
Yeah, we obviously saw what happens when we do, do just that against Notre Dame.
Yeah.
We've seen 3 different games now. We were at UConn, home against Notre Dame, home against VMI. I feel like that the Notre Dame game was the bad outlier. The VMI game was the good outlier. And the UConn game is in the middle, which is probably the closer, I will say, to the real.
I say it's average. I don't think UConn game was bad. I don't think it was really that. It wasn't that good, but it's still like it's average. I mean, to me, it's average.
It was kind of like in between those 2, and that's kind of where I was looking at it. I'm like,
it leans more towards VMI though, in my opinion.
I feel like this team has the potential to be VMI all the time, but I think the reality is you're probably somewhere in between VMI and UConn. That's probably where you're realistically gonna sit for most of the ACC games.
Yeah,
you're gonna have some defenses that are just bad. Carolina bad. You should put up a lot of yardage against Carolina.
Wake Forest.
Should put up a lot. Wake Forest. Virginia Tech and Virginia are the 2 others too that are on your schedule that are rough.
Maybe Louisville. I think
their defense was strong last year, so I kind of expected them to continue that, but they've kind of had a little bit of a transformation this year. Their offense is a little bit more explosive this year.
Doesn't seem great on defense either.
Yeah, I think Miami is one of those teams that you can take advantage of, especially when they try to rush upfield a lot more. They tend to be a little bit more aggressive defensively, but that's going to be another one of those games that might, it's going to be a lot like Notre Dame. We're going to have the opportunities to push the ball down the field. We're just going to have to make those plays in this game instead of not making them, which we did in Notre Dame. But I really feel like somewhere by the time the season ends, I think we're going to fall somewhere between VMI and UConn. We're going to be able to put up 30 to 35, and we're going to expect the defense to hold, to less than that. And you hold teams to less than 30 points, you're probably going to get the win. If they score more than 30, you're probably not. So, when I looked at this game, I see the potential, for them, and I'm still carving out my real thoughts on the offense. It's kind of a week by week thing that we talk about, but I think they have that potential to be VMI all the time. They just got to be able to harness that each and every week and be more consistent. That's the number one thing that I'm going to try to preach going forward, which is being more consistent and being in the positions and putting the right players in the right spot is part of that too. And we're going to see a little bit of the changes this week. Bradley Rosner is now not on the outside anymore. Terrell Timmons is now with him, and so we're going to see how kind of some of these little small, subtle changes, are going to make the offense maybe look a little different. I like the idea of having Bradley in the slot. I mean, he's really just a mismatch when it comes to that. But, we'll see. We'll see how that goes this week. But ultimately, those were our three keys. I mean, I think you're going to find out at the end of the show, both me and Colby are going to agree that this should be a game that NC State wins. It should be a game that they win fairly handily, too. I mean, this is a team that Virginia is still kind of in transition right now, just their second year under Tony Ellie. So you just got to be able to take advantage and get the job done as they did week one. Your goal is just to come back with another road win, and hopefully that'll be a game that NC State won't have to worry about going forward. So,
yeah.
So I'll let you start this time, though. I'm going to give you who are going to be your three key players that you're going to watch out for on Friday.
Yeah, I think they're going to be. I don't know. It's to me, it's. I probably think that the key players would probably be. I don't know. It's definitely going to be a Brennan Armstrong type of game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's the type of feeling I get. It's his former team, so like that would probably make more sense for him to go off on them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it screams to me. It's like when Sam Hartman plays Wake Forest pretty soon. I think they play at the end of the season or something, like second game to the end of the season. I expect Sam Hartman to go off on Wake Forest. Like, I just think this is going to be a Brennan type of game, so I think he's one of my keys. Definitely Bradley Rosner. I feel like being a 6'5" wide receiver, I feel like he's just going to get over a lot of guys. He's going to bully some of these corners that Virginia has, and they're not senior-led corners. Like, I think they had like one senior or something like that, and the rest are very young. Like, I mean, he's going to bully them. And then Peyton Wilson. It's just my last key.
Go the easy
player.
answer.
I mean, it's Peyton Wilson. I mean, if Peyton has a good game, I feel like we win. Like, it's just those are really the guys that are the key players for the game. I really feel like Brennan just is one of those guys that I feel like he has a breakout and just throws for like 500 or 400 yards and has like 5 touchdowns or something like that.
I like those. Those are definitely expected for sure. Peyton's definitely going to be an impact player for sure. But in this game, I pegged this game as it being a Virginia wideouts versus NC State secondary type of a game. So I chose one from the defensive secondary. I'm going to choose Aiden White this week. I think he comes back with a vengeance this week. I pegged him. I think he's going to get matched up against Malachi, and I think that's going to be a great matchup for fans to watch. So keep an eye on the outside, with that matchup. And the other thing that I pegged this week, I'm going back to my key, so I'm going back to the running game. So Michael Allen was one of my players who I think is going to have his little breakout game this week. I think you kind of hit it a little bit earlier. Virginia's pass rush has not been great. So I think this is going to be a game that NC State can get some push up front. I think they're going to be able to run the football a little bit better this week, which in turn I think will open up that slot passing game for Bradley. I think that's really kind of where NC State is going to have to attack early and establish the fact that you're the better team. Run the football down their throat until they can't stop it. And if they do stop it, then you can switch to more of the passing game and virtue of the running game by getting guys like Jordan Houston out in the backfield and things like that.
Yeah.
So, though he was definitely the one that I keyed in on. And then Brennan Armstrong was my third because it's a homecoming for him. I think he's going to have a big game. I think it's going to be a situation where he wants to have a big game. He's really been, for lack of a better term this week, he's had like a real quiet confidence is the way I would describe it this week. He's been asked several times about, what's going on with the offense, what are ways to improve, and he's kind of just been quietly confident. He's like, we're still a work in progress right now, but we've been getting better and better each and every week, and guys are becoming to get a little bit more on the same page. And so I really kind of feel like he's taken a little bit more of a leadership role this week. So I expected him to have a big game this week.
Yeah.
And for NC State, I think they're going to have Bradley and Brennan have a good, solid game because they're probably two mismatches for Virginia right now.
Yeah. I mean, you expect, and some people have said you shouldn't expect things, but it's you expect Brennan to kind of take this game a little bit over a little bit. Like he's gonna know what they're gonna do, their scheme wise defensively. Like he was in that system last year. He's gonna know. He's gonna know, and he's gonna know what guys to pick on too. So like he's gonna like know what to do. I don't think Rosner has really much of a problem. I mean, you're 6'5". I just don't see much of a problem with what Virginia's got going defensively. So what really is more, I guess, the worry is, are other players going to get like just completely derailed if they don't play well? And one guy in particular, to me, is definitely Michael Allen. Like we were saying earlier, Michael Allen's the big kind of bruising back. He's one of those guys that had a decent game against VMI, and when he has gotten touches has done well. But to me, it's just like once he has that kind of hiccup where he gets stopped a couple times, he just doesn't seem like he has that explosiveness much anymore. But I don't know. I don't see Virginia really having that kind of effect on our guys either. So we're going to have a lot of plays made because guys are going to step up and get a lot of confidence. Because this Virginia team just really isn't like, they're not like a Clemson,
Right.
If they were Clemson, then like if they were like Clemson level, I'd be a little bit more scared. But like,
yeah.
It's a Friday game. State's won like half the Friday games we played. Same with the next game. It's like it's on a Friday. It's also the next game's at night. So I mean,
blackout, by the way. So
yeah.
Shout out to the fans if you're listening. Please wear black. Do not wear white. Do not wear red. Do not wear
I'm wearing
purple,
black,
orange, or green. Please wear black. It's a blackout for the night. So I'm assuming NC State's going to pull out the black unis. I'm sure they'll go all black.
They're gonna go all black. It's not. It's like you're not gonna call it a blackout and not wear all black. I mean,
maybe that's what we should do to psych them out, though. Call it a blackout and then turn around and wear the whites.
It's gonna look good. It's gonna look good with the new revamped uniform though, because we haven't seen the new revamped black uniform. We've seen the white and the red. The black one, I think, is gonna look really cool. Also,
I think it is too.
I think they're unveiling a new black uniform for that game.
I believe so too.
So I'm anxious to see how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they got the new Adidas unis this year anyway. I think there were 6 schools that got chosen to wear their new uniforms, and they always do a quote unquote promo special uniform, whatever you want to do every year. And I think this is why NC State's putting it out so early, that they want everybody to know it's a blackout. So maybe we could get some black LED lights for the stadium. I don't know.
Yeah. I think the same too. We'll see. I mean, it's also going to look pretty cool with the lights and stuff.
Yeah.
Our new red lights that we got in the stadium. I mean, the new scoreboard as well. Like, I mean, you and I, when going to the Notre Dame game, I mean, that scoreboard's loud.
Yeah, it's
loud.
Awesome. I know it's awesome and loud.
So good at night too.
It does.
And it's bright. It's very bright.
Yeah. Yes, it is. I mean, I could probably watch the TV from Fuquay, I could probably just see it.
Yeah, you could sit all the way from like Cary almost.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that thing is big.
Yeah, but I just think that this game, just to me, it just doesn't seem like it's going to be much of a sweater. Like
Okay.
it could be a UConn game, like you and I have discussed. It could be a UConn game where it's not close, but it's you would like it to be a little bit more like to like more of like kind of leading blowout almost, but like not blowout entirely, but like kind of. And
Yeah.
more what I'm hearing is it's like no one in Virginia thinks that State's gonna lose this game. Like a lot of Virginia beat writers and supporters and like fans and like people who literally cover Virginia have literally said that it's just this team just doesn't have it. So I mean you're 0-3 after 3 weeks. Granted, you play Tennessee and Maryland, but I mean you should have beaten that James Madison team. I mean there's just no excuse there in my opinion.
The weird thing about it is, and we were talking with another friend of mine offline about this, is that Virginia has literally been in every one of their games into the third quarter. And then when the fourth quarter comes, they just completely fall apart. And that's what's been their MO so far. And as a fan, I hope that NC State fans don't fall into that trap of like it being really close for 3 quarters. Because, I mean, honestly, as an ACC team playing another ACC team on the road, I expect to get a good shot from them. I mean, they're not just going to lay over dead and let's run all over them all day.
No, they won't. But there is a difference between us and them. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
Especially talent-wise too. I mean,
yeah,
we're just more of a sounder team, in my opinion.
I think so too. I just don't want State fans to have it be like a third quarter game and it's maybe like a field goal or touchdown game, and then they're all getting, the way they do on Twitter, and they're starting to call for people's heads and all that stuff. It's going to be a 4-quarter game. That's why they play 4 quarters. So,
yeah. When we get to the predictions, I'll give you my realistic prediction and then the prediction that I actually really feel strong with.
Okay. Well, it is. Speaking of that, that's a great segue. So thanks, Colby, for doing that. It's prediction time. So I'm gonna let you start. I'm gonna let you start it out tonight.
Oh yeah, I go first. Oh God.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you go first tonight.
Okay, so I guess realistic prediction is like where it's 35-20. That's probably the realistic part. To me, though, like what I really kind of feel like it's going to be 35-17.
Okay.
I just don't see it like that. I just don't see it like they put 20 on us. I just don't see that. Realistically, I just see them. It's like the most they can put up probably would be 14. I don't know. Okay. It's just especially the defense just plays sound. Like I said in my keys, I mean, if they play sound, it's definitely going to be a 35-17. So I'm okay. Realistically, you probably could look at it as a 35-20, but like in my opinion, it's 35-17 is the final score.
Okay. I like that. I'm going to go a little bit on the other end of the spectrum because I do a little thing on the side with some betting action too. So I'm going to go with my gut's going to tell me NC State's going to win by the line, which the line right now is about 10. So I'm going to go with like 24-14. I'm going to go same as UConn. But my heart's going to tell me that it should be like a 31-14 or 38-14 type game. State just, for whatever reason, I don't know why, but I go with this numbers when it comes to the betting world, but they're 4-12 against the spread for some reason.
Yeah.
So State doesn't do well against the spread, which is why I'm going to say like it's going to hover at the spread. But my heart's going to tell me that we're going to go up to Charlottesville and Brennan's going to have a big game and things are going to look good. And that's going to essentially propel us for the rest of the season too.
Yeah. So it's one of those games, and I hate to cut you off, but like,
no, you're good.
It's one of those games that it screams of get right game for Brennan. Like it screams him like having a good game. And it really could shockingly be that. Like, it's just, he should know this team like inside and out. It's your former team, and it's the same scheme that they ran last year. So
yeah, so should 2J, and so should Coach and I. Realistically, I mean,
yeah,
they should have really good ideas about personnel and what they're going to be doing and things like that. So,
and that's why you saw the change. That's why you probably saw the change in personnel. I feel like that should like
mhm.
scream to you that obviously they know a little bit of something that we don't. So
Yeah, maybe they're going to try to see if they can get different matchups this week than what they've been trying out the first few weeks. But realistically, you and I talked about it offline. I mean, it's just really, I want NC State going forward in the future is to find out who your guys are.
yeah,
Last week it was Julian. He's clearly an electric player. Get the dude the ball. I mean,
fast.
it's crazy to see for me. Like, don't hate me for this. I love the seniors. I love you guys for all the stuff you put in.
Mm-hmm.
But at this point in time, State has to be able to figure out who is going to be their go-to guys, not only for now, but next year too. And if you're not going to be a contributor for this year's team, then it's time for you to start, looking elsewhere or looking for other ways to contribute, I'll say.
Yeah.
And I think it's starting to be that time for the youngins to start getting out there, and
Yeah,
start
I
showing
agree.
what they're capable of.
Yeah,
So,
I see. And then there's just like another thing is, you're wanting to you want to know where these guys are going to be, and I just think another shocking thing that you and I talked about. Bradley Rosner is going to be in the slot. I just don't see him
mm-hmm,
as a slot guy. He's 6'5". I think he needs to be on the outside. So it's just find out where guys go, find out the personnel that you want to roll with. I think realistically, when it comes down to it, and I think it's the guys that we roll with, I really think it's Vereen, Conception, Collins, and Rosner that are really going to be the guys. And
mm-hmm,
maybe Lassane a little bit, but just because of he's just a veteran, and
mm-hmm.
he'll have a game here and there. And then Julian Gray definitely he's
Yeah.
definitely have like a big chance of being a big part of this because he reminds me a lot of like a Debo Samuel.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very running kind of receiver. You almost could play him at probably like a running back kind of
Right.
position, like a Jalen Samuel almost.
Right.
So they ran a jet sweep with him this past game, and it just was
Mm-hmm.
so beautiful to watch him run that
Yeah.
jet sweep. So you just got to find out where you guys are, and I just think those are probably the guys that we lean more towards as we go into the season.
I hope we see more Julian Gray. That's all I know. That dude was
Yeah,
electric last week with the ball in his hands, and he really had 2 touchdown turns. One
yeah,
of them was called back for the penalty that wasn't even a part of the play.
hmm
Realistically.
yeah,
So I want to see him and Jalen Coit. They got shout outs this week for specialists as returners this week. So both
no,
of them are among the ACC's leaders in return yardage. So shout out to both of them for doing what they're supposed to. But I thought they've really done a great job all year. I thought Jalen's done a really great job as a punt returner.
yeah.
I kind of really enjoy the fact that he likes to take some chances because Thayer was more of the, wave your hand and, take the field position kind of
He
thing.
didn't like
But
to run it. He didn't
he
run it a
didn't really
lot.
want to get hurt either.
No,
So Jalen's kind of playing with that, what else do I have to lose kind of mentality. So he's going out there and making plays in the running game and doing some things to help set us up with some better field position. So, it's all complementary. Dave talks about it all the time. One thing helps the other, and the other thing helps the offense. Offense helps defense. Defense helps special teams. It all has to come together. So I think this is going to be a game that we probably do see again all 3 phases. We're probably going to see all 3 phases make an impact. So, I realistically hope that it's going to be a lot more than just the 10-point line. for me, because I'll win either way, I mean, it's like I'm good either way.
Yeah.
So if they win by more than 10, I'm going to feel great as a fan. They lose or they win by less than 10, I'm going to make money. So it doesn't really matter for me either way.
Yeah.
So, I hope that they get a good comeback game and a good get right game too. So they need to get some juice because the back half of the schedule is really loaded. You get Clemson, Miami, and North Carolina in the back half. So I think they need to start getting that rhythm now, because you do have a couple more weeks, where you're playing Louisville and Marshall after this and then Duke. So, I mean, you technically got a few weeks to still kind of figure some things out. But you want to be able to get them figured out sooner rather than later, because Clemson's going to be here and so will Miami. So those are going to be two big games that I feel like NC State's got to get at least one of those. If you're going to have the season that they're wanting to have, you got to get one of those.
Yeah.
So figure it out this week, NC State. I'm going to challenge y'all again, figure it out, continue to figure out who is going to be your go-tos, and hopefully we will get to enjoy who the go-to guys are this week. So
yeah, just like my Buffalo Bills got to figure it out this past week against the Raiders. I mean,
y'all got
figure
to
it out,
NC
State. Figure it out.
Yeah, that's Dave's thing. Just figure it out, man. Brennan this week was talking about it. He's like, we're still working on it, but y'all need to figure it out. That's what I can say. I'm going to challenge y'all this week to continue to get Julian Gray the ball because I think that's part of the answer of figuring it out.
Yeah.
Get Bradley Rosner the ball more often. I think that's the other part of figuring it out. And, let those guys get more touches. They got to get more targets. If you want them to be producing more, you got to give them more. So, I would love to, after last week's game, I would love to not see the ball go sideways more often than down the football field because we had a lot of sideways last week. So I'm going to challenge NC State to get the ball down the seams like you and I talked about at the Notre Dame game. I really think their advantage is there. Juice and Bradley in the seams should really be an advantage for us against pretty much anybody. So get the ball to them. Get those guys in space and getting them running down the seams and get some more plays downfield. You're going to see more explosives if you take more explosive chances. So not going to get any explosive plays over there throwing sideways. So I challenge y'all to get the ball down the field a little bit more this week. But again, have fun. That's what Dave said they got to get back to. They got to get back to having fun and playing the way they're capable of. So, I think the Notre Dame game kind of woke them up a little bit, and you hope that that's the case because it's going to be a good season for us if we can. And as Dave said, it's an open race right now. It's anybody's game at this point. So
ACC is wide open.
The ACC
honestly,
is wide open.
Florida State doesn't look like the world beater we thought.
No, not after playing Boston College last week. So
they looked sorry and with Boston College, and then Clemson. Clemson lost to freaking Duke in the first week. So I mean, they haven't played anybody since then. So
yeah, we're gonna find out about those two teams this week. That's an off-topic conversation, but we get to find out, who is the real FSU and who is the real Clemson this week.
Who do they play?
So they're playing each other this week. So
they're playing each other.
Yeah, they get to play each other this week, and that one's gonna be in Death Valley. So hopefully we're gonna find out who's who this week. And maybe it's us, maybe we're going to find out that we're going to be one of the teams that you should look out for going forward. So that's my hope. And that's my encouraging thing going forward is that we go up and take care of business and come back home 1-0 in the ACC. And we can, get some momentum as we get to the rest of the conference schedule.
Exactly.
Because like you said, Louisville will be next Friday. So we hope that we can get some momentum. If you can get some momentum and start out right in the ACC, you can hopefully build towards that Duke and Clemson week. So, but I appreciate you as always, man. It's that time of night, so we're going to try to, close this one out. But it should be a fun time. Everybody needs to tune in at 7:30 on Friday night. So, this night, Friday is Friday night football, but it's Friday night for college. So not Friday night for high school. So everybody tune in. Yep. Make sure you're as loud as you can be up there in Charlottesville for all those traveling. Safe travels for everybody that is heading up that way. And we look forward to seeing you guys again after the game. You're definitely going to do this again for the post game. So we look forward to, getting everybody's thoughts, and, hopefully you guys will be able to show up and listen for us, and we'll give you our thoughts on what happens after. But for that'll be the end of this one. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in. As always, you can find us on all of our social media platforms. We're now adding the YouTube channel to it as well. So check us out on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up, give us the like, give us the subscribe. You know the deal. Y'all know how that works. So also, give us a shout out tonight for all of our sponsors too. Want to give out a shout out to Pepsi. Want to give out a shout out to True Victory tonight for all your it's a veteran-owned business, so you guys should definitely go out and check them out at truevictory.com. They have a lot of different things. We've got a couple T-shirts and stuff from them already, and it's super high quality. And then last but not least, our friends over at Arden's Bar and Grill, they've been a huge help for us as we've continued to grow this. And they've always been a really good supporter of us. So if you're in the area, give them a shout out as well. We're going to be down there, sooner rather than later to be in that area. They're down in the Anderson, South Carolina area. So we look forward to eventually meeting the people that are going to help us grow. So, but we especially want to thank all the Wolfpack fans. Y'all are the best. Y'all are the greatest. Show out. Do what you got to do. I'm going to let Colby do his thing, and then I'm going to wrap it up too. So y'all have fun. Have a great week, and we're going to see you guys after Friday.
And as always, go Pack.
Go Pack.
And, ow!
Go Pack. Beat the Who's.